Good day, folks. Welcome back to another video by the NIHIS. I am the gun tech of the team, and today we're going to be having a look at the Thompson submachine gun. This is the primary weapon that we use in the NIHIS Airsoft team. This is the primary weapon that most members of the NIHIS Airsoft team use, as when the team was formed 10 years ago, unfortunately, as far as World War II airsoft guns go, there wasn't too many available. So the Thompson was the best one to get, and only the one that was the most available at the time. That's changed in recent years, which is good, but it's kind of our staple weapon now, so we just continue on with that. These two examples here are made by King Arms. They still do make Thompsons, but they're mainly sort of like part of Cybergun, so it's not just them by themselves. But they are licensed, which is very, very nice. You can see on the side of it, says the Auto Ordnance Corporation, and has the Thompson logos on the top of them. Very, very nice replicas, full metal with full wood, stock, hand guard and grip. These two particular examples of the Thompson are the M1A1, or the military designation of it. You may know that these were used in World War II by the Americans as well as other allies through the Lend-Lease, such as the British. The British paratroopers and commandos also used them, and they liked them very, very much. You can tell that it's not the 1928 one because the charging handle's on the side rather than the top, and the back sight is not a block with a flip-up sight. It's just an ordinary little peep sight that you can look through. It's a very, very lovely replica and good example of it. This particular one actually is 10 years old, believe it or not. So this has been in the team from the very, very start, and it's still running today. It's only been serviced a handful of times and has only had one piston change in its entire lifetime, which is pretty good in my opinion. This here example is a lot more recent, but despite that, they're exactly the same. King Arms hasn't really made any updates in terms of how they make their Thompsons, so they still use the same version 6 gearbox that Cybergun and Cyma uses. This is it here. Now, a notable difference between them is that the Cyma ones do have plastic bushings, which you will want to replace, but you can find the King Arms or Cybergun ones easily enough. They're just like metal bushings, so it's a lot better for wear and tear over time. And also the version 6 gearboxes are very easy to work on, as all the wiring, let me show you, sorry. All the wiring is on the outside of the gearbox, rather than a version 2 like an M4 or even a version 3 of an AK. The wiring runs through the middle, and that can be a bit fidgety. So if you're concerned about tacking your Thompson, they're actually so easy. I've worked on a dozen Thompsons more, as many members have them. And they're so easy to work on, so easy to fix. Most things are V2 compatible, apart from the trigger sort of group. And it uses a short type motor, not a long type motor. And one other nice thing is that unlike an M4, it has a motor cage. And a motor cage is good for keeping your motor nice and centered whenever you are adjusting the height of it. You don't have to take off and on the grip like you do with an M4. So it makes tacking pretty easy. And we'll have some examples of magazines and batteries that you can use in your Thompson if you decide to get one. Now, nowadays, the Cybergun is more or less the same as the King Arms. They're more or less the same things. It doesn't really matter which one you get. They're more or less the same. We'll have examples of stick mags. We'll have high cap stick mags, and they have a wee door in the top. You pour your pellets in, flick that down, and wind it like any other high cap in Airsoft. It'll be a bit rattly though, as you can probably hear. This is also going to rattle. We have an example of a drum mag. Now, we are aware that in real life, the 1928 versions used this, and it went into the side. But as you can see here, the slot on the back of it allows it to go up into the M1A ones, because the M1A ones did not use drum mags in real life, but it's Airsoft, so they're not going to make a different fitting for a gun that people don't really buy that often anyway. So I'm just glad to have that. This holds 450 rounds. Despite the size, it's quite deceiving. It looks like it will hold a lot more, but no, it holds 450 rounds. Believe it or not, these ordinary stick high caps hold 320, so you're only getting an extra 80 rounds for the size difference. But if you like the aesthetic of the drum mag, they are pretty fun, and everyone has a wee look at you. They're pretty fun. You can also use mid caps, which a lot of members in our teams prefer these because they don't rattle whenever we're sneaking in and around behind enemy lines and stuff. You can actually see that this here one has been used quite heavily. So you can get 60 round. You can get 60 round stick mags or 110. Now the 110 round mags are very hard to get nowadays. So you'll probably just come across a 60 round, but it works with all of them, no problem. In terms of batteries, unless you get a steel tooth piston or some kind of MOSFET put into it, do not run 11-1 LiPos, because that was the case with this here version, or that was the case with this here example, and it kind of shredded the piston teeth. So that's going to get replaced sometime in the future. Stick around, you might actually see that video. So we tend to run 9.6 NIMI batteries because they do the job and they hold a good charge, and the rate of fire is decent with them, and it doesn't stress the gun out too much. Now, if you do get a King Arms Thompson, yours may come with a large type Tamiya connector, which if it does, you can get a wee adapter off the likes of eBay. It just converts it to mini Tamiya. So, but being that this is the old example, this does come with the large type, and this comes with the mini Tamiya. So if you get a mini Tamiya, don't need to worry about it. Another thing to look out for is that we found that the fuses on them like to cut out quite a lot. So we've actually bypassed the fuses in a couple of the guns just to be able to use them, because they were cutting out in the middle of a firefight, and obviously you don't want that. So yeah, that's more or less everything I can say about these Thompsons. They're very reliable airsoft weapon to use in the field, and they will get the job done.